Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the end of January of 2022, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2 and The Bad Batch, a lot of Star Wars fans have really been enjoying now with the Book of Boba Fett, recently with Chapter 5, really kind of proving that Disney and Lucasfilm are going to be doing great things with each and every chapter that's going to just keep building and building within the Book of Boba Fett series. There's already talks behind the scenes of a Season 2 of the Boba Fett show to work in conjunction with The Mandalorian Season 3, Season 4, and so on and so forth. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So what's really all the more exciting right now is that we have George, John, and Dave working on over a dozen Star Wars projects simultaneously to really kind of move the Star Wars franchise in a brand new direction. Essentially what they are doing is that they are building it all from the ground up, really introducing something very special to the fandom by dragging in Star Wars Legends, mixing it in with the Disney canon, and of course unused material from Star Wars Legends back in the 1990s and the 2000s. Now, given that Chapter 5 of the Boba Fett series, in case you guys have not seen it, don't worry, we're not tapping into spoilers, but Chapter 5 was by far, at least in my opinion, honestly, I'm sure that a lot of you guys out there will agree, is that it was by far the best chapter yet. Now, Bryce Dallas Howard, I believe that she did a very solid job on directing that episode. We're going to be getting, of course, Chapters 6 and 7, that's going to wrap up the series, before we head over to The Bad Batch Season 2, and later the Kenobi TV series. So with that being said, what's really interesting about all of this is exactly what's been going on behind the scenes between Kathleen Kennedy and George Lucas when it involves a specific Star Wars TV show. So with Kathleen Kennedy still having issues with the Acolyte series by Leslye Headland, both John and Dave Filoni are beginning to work on their other Star Wars shows for Disney+. However, it's noted that something significant is happening behind the scenes for the Star Wars universe when it comes to everything happening between Kathleen Kennedy and creator George Lucas. Now, recently, Kathleen Kennedy made a drastic decision for her show in the Acolyte TV series that is going to impact George Lucas's vision of Star Wars completely. Now, initially, both Lucas and Kennedy had agreed to use many of Lucas's ideas for the Acolyte series, and that recently Kathleen Kennedy did some major changes to Lucas's plans for the Star Wars universe when it involves this show specifically. Now, on top of that, it's described that recently Kathleen Kennedy made the choice to completely change George Lucas's treatment of Yoda in the Acolyte TV show, and how Yoda's life will be in between the High Republic and the Phantom Menace. Further, it's noted that Kathleen Kennedy recently allowed Leslye Headland to move along with the treatment that Yoda is set to give up on being a Jedi, much like Luke Skywalker did in The Last Jedi, film of course by Rian Johnson, how by the end of the Acolyte series, Yoda is going to give up through the ways of the Force as well as the Jedi Order. So let's stop right here. The thing that really bothers me about this is the fact how Kathleen Kennedy is essentially borrowing many elements from what Rian Johnson had done in The Last Jedi and his treatment of Luke, and applying all of that to the character of Yoda. To me, this is actually the worst thing that you could really do to George Lucas, because we all know how George felt when it came to The Last Jedi and their treatment of Luke. That's exactly why Luke did not attend the premiere of The Rise of Skywalker, because of how they really didn't use all that much of Luke, and how they really did not honor the Skywalker bloodline at heart. Now, when you look at everything related to what Kathleen Kennedy and Leslye Headland are doing behind the scenes, they are going to be using Yoda in his prime. So basically, during the High Republic era, we're going to be witnessing Yoda in his prime. Now, he's not going to be that much younger, per se, in comparison to the prequels, but this is going to be labeled as the strongest point in Yoda's life. And it's going to be interesting to see what the fans are going to think about all of this, because the fact that Kathleen Kennedy is going to apply some kind of circumstance, some kind of scenario that's going to push Yoda into a similar path that Luke Skywalker fell into just before the sequel trilogy events, where he abandons the Jedi Order, and cuts himself off from the Force. Kathleen Kennedy is doing exactly that with Yoda in the Acolyte series. This is probably the biggest backstab that you can do to George Lucas of all, and I'm not quite sure why Kathleen Kennedy even feels like doing this. It almost comes off like this is done on purpose. But I digress. This is said to be different than the reason why Yoda went into isolation after Episode 3, but however, Kennedy is pushing for Yoda's story to be told this way, where he will no longer believe in the Jedi way for quite a number of decades in between the High Republic and the prequel trilogy movies. Kennedy is even bringing on director Rian Johnson, as we discussed a couple of days ago, to handle Yoda in the episodes that he will actually be in. Lucas is best described to be very unhappy about this major decision by Kathleen Kennedy, and wants her to stop this immediately. However, given that she holds full creative power over the series, there is not much Lucas can really do as of right now. Kennedy is said to want to provide a very different story for Yoda in the Acolyte series that will truly reshape the character, where he eventually abandons the Jedi Order and the entire way of the Force. Kennedy is giving Yoda the Luke Skywalker treatment from The Last Jedi, essentially. Even the Disney higher-ups are very worried about this treatment of Yoda, including Disney CEO Bob Chapek, who is very uneasy about this decision. However, by contract, Kathleen Kennedy is able to do as she pleases with the story for the Acolyte, and holds creative talent over the series with Leslye Headland. Now, Kennedy is even planning for Yoda to act in a totally different way during the High Republic era, to essentially make him come off as a brand new character entirely, to show fans how Yoda evolved from his era in the High Republic all the way to the prequels and beyond. Now, this is also something that Lucas is very furious over, and holds a grudge against Kathleen Kennedy for it all. Now, if you guys go ahead and examine The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson basically already did this, where he made Yoda act in a very different way, in a way that really kind of bugged fans, in a way that really kind of offended the fandom. You know, if you look at Yoda, he's acting very and overly comedic, especially where he's like, you know, kicking his feet around and laughing like that. It felt way out of character, as if Yoda was a different character, hopping in and out of that body. Now, when you look at everything related to what Kathleen Kennedy is now doing, she's basically doing everything that was done in The Last Jedi and throwing it on Yoda. This, honestly, I don't know about you guys, but this really is starting to come off like Kathleen Kennedy is doing this on purpose to destroy the character of Yoda, tear him down, and really strip him down to nothing, to the point where this is going to create another Last Jedi situation where you are going to get fan backlash, and then, you know, people like Kathleen Kennedy and Leslye Headland are going to pull that card where they blame people for not getting what they want to see. And it's not that, it's just about common sense. That's all the fans want. They want common sense. They don't want the lore to be disrespected or torn apart, or they don't want the characters to be disrespected or destroyed in that sense. So, you know, I don't know why she tends to keep moving through this way. You would think that if you want a series to be successful, especially if it holds a legacy character, you should really, really, and absolutely pay attention to the fandom and respect that character the way that he should be. So, like I said, guys, I mean, I think that 2023 is going to be a very interesting year, because it's going to have a lot of great TV shows. We have Mando Season 4, we have the Ahsoka Tano series, they're even planning a 3rd season of The Bad Batch already. I mean, there's a lot coming our way next year, and that's just to name a few. We also have Andor Season 2. But, on top of that, the Acolyte series, I think it's going to be a failure. I don't think it's going to be all that well. And I'm not all that afraid that it will break the rhythm of the positivity of the Star Wars fandom. I just think that it's going to create a little bump in the road. So anyways, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.